So in this video, I'm going to kind of explain one of the stories that we had in one of our game sessions. So to kind of give some background, I was the game master, and I had Brittany and Chris in my group, and Brittany's character is an ex-detective who is very flashy, very good with guns, and Chris is also a man with experience when it comes to killing, and he's a very big guy, and his character is a very strong, muscular man. So to kind of give some pretense to what I'm going to talk about here, our story is based in the 20s, very, noir, cops, gangsters, mobsters, and essentially what's going to happen here is that Brittany and Chris, their characters, are working under a boss, and this boss got abducted by this man called Babyface. So what they're doing, what Brittany did to kind of find out where he was being taken, was she got a man at a bar, and she seduced him into telling her where the warehouse was where they were keeping the boss. So Chris is driving, and he's the guy that always drives the car. So he's driving, and they see the warehouse, and he steps on the gas. And all the while Chris is driving, Brittany has to keep, the guy entertained. So she's in the back, doing some Titanic stuff with the guy, fogging up the glass and making a handprint. And Chris comes in here like, and he crashes through the warehouse in an epic scene. The car crashes through the windows in slow motion. Chris is driving with one arm, and he's shooting a Tommy gun with the other. He's just, going at it. So they land the car, they get out, they take cover. Brittany goes into another warehouse, another room of the warehouse to find her boss. Chris has to stay there and deal with 3 guys that are shooting at him. So Chris has a very cool stunt. His stunt is once per game session, he can automatically KO in any situation from a 1v1 to a 1v3 situation, and he used that stunt in this game session because there are 3 guys in there. And the way Chris decided to deal with them was very cool. All he said was, "I'm gonna slap them in the face, and they're gonna die." So what Chris did was he slapped these 3 men in the face, and they died. So Brittany, Chris joins up with Brittany, and Brittany is being very stealthy. She's using her stealth skill, her sneaky skill, and she's up in the ramparts of the warehouse, and she's taking out the lights, so it's very dark. And Chris, he knows that she's up there, so because he can see her, he says, "Brittany! Brittany!" to call attention to himself, so Brittany doesn't get caught while she's taking out the lights. So the people start shooting at Chris. Chris takes cover. Brittany from the top, because she's already in an advantageous position, she takes out the man really easy with her gun. So Chris decides, he sees the boss there tied up, with his hands behind his back in a chair, his mouth tipped up. They go to free him. But as soon as they do that, a big muscular guy comes out, huge, like 7'5" guy, a big guy with 2 Tommy guns. Then he's got this baby face. So that's the boss, Babyface. So the way they decide to deal with him is Chris decides to, run around, kind of come around him, distracting him, while Brittany shoots him at his legs. So as he falls down onto his knees, because Brittany shot him in the legs, Chris comes up and he kicks him in the balls. And while Chris kicks him in the balls, like bam, he kicks him in the balls, right? And he falls down on his knees, and he falls down his chest. And when he falls on his chest, he falls onto a hook. So the hook gets him right here in his chin. And what Chris does, he sees a chain that's connected to a levee system where the hook is. He shoots the chain, the levee comes down, and the guy gets pulled up by his face, and his eye gets popped out, and he's hanging by his skull. He's just hanging right there. And so they rescued the boss, and everything was good. In the 1920 Chicago, yeah, man, it was a great story, violent, had the right amount of sexual innuendo. It was great.